It might be over.
All right, I'll wait till I, yeah.
Give it about 30 seconds, I think. Oh, it's 6 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. Open with the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Wyatt.
Here.
Stabell.
Here.
Funds.
Present.
Reister.
Here.
Engel. Here.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda, anything to remove? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Was there were the expenditures for the computer stuff on the consent agenda? Or is that,
The computer replacement for 2174 was, yeah, for a couple pretty
Okay,
much
so-
dead computers.
so what, give me the details on that. I was just curious about
We had two computers that were 12 years old,
desktop, laptop?
desktop.
Okay,
So we replaced one of the desktops, and it actually was our main front counter. So basically, we're doing everything on that one.
mhm,
We replaced that one, and then we replaced another one at the docking station, because the person that is there has a laptop, so we just hooked it in, so that all they have to have is their laptop.
mhm.
So
And then
eventually,
put one that actually works in my office,
and that was the other new one, was
Yeah.
in the mayor's office.
because I was getting no connectivity and dying.
Okay.
Any other questions? Oh, and the Blackhawk County was 2 months they forgot to bill us the
Blackhawk
firemen.
waste,
Or failed to get it through.
Blackhawk waste,
Yeah.
right?
Blackhawk waste, yeah.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Mayor's comments and commendations. Welcome to Mary. Thank you.
And everyone.
Committee reports. Gail, Personnel Admin Finance Committee meeting November 27th.
A meeting was called to order at 4:45. First item was the retirement of Colleen Damon, effective as of January 8th, 2018. And so it was recommended to council to accept Colleen's retirement. Next was Bob Stevenson's retirement. He will be retiring officially at the end of June, right?
Mhm.
And so we went ahead and voted and recommended to council to accept his retirement. We then discussed how we could fill his position. We could replace it possibly with the city clerk and have her take on more responsibilities. And then maybe reassign some of her other responsibilities too. We also thought that there might be some interns out there that not only have worked for us, but maybe for some other cities, that we could possibly acquire that. We also then discussed maybe go out to other towns to see if we could have someone work part-time for them and work part-time for us. So we decided to go ahead and put out a ad for the position. It would start out as a part-time position, but we also mentioned that there might be the possibility to go full-time as we get busier down the road with more development going on within the city, so. Discussed again the concerns with the committee structure and having 2 staff people on the committee. The committee decided to go ahead to leave the configuration alone and allow city staff to retain their voting rights, because the city council does have then the final approval on some of those items, so. And Chrissy just talked about the computer, so we're all covered on that. We will go ahead and establish then a replacement cycle beginning July 1st as to how we fund replacing all of the older computers, because some of them are, would you say the next ones are like 8, 10 years old, or 7 or 8, 10 years old?
No.
And it obviously is a, has potential security risks, and so we'll go ahead and get that established. The 2018 holiday schedule then was discussed, and it was approved to recommend to the council the schedule, and we'll be voting on that tonight. And we adjourned at 5:17.
Any questions for Gail? Thank you, Gail. Public Works, Scott.
We met at 7 o'clock on the 13th. We approved a software agreement for the Waterworks Department. We discussed potential second feed for the northern tier, either a water tower or a new line. And we decided that we needed to at least, at this point, start budgeting for those expenses. We then talked about the diffuser issue that we're having with some erosion, and we agreed to let that go out for bid. No, we agreed to engineer that, I'm sorry.
Direct to the
I got a
council.
phone call here. Now I'm off my schedule. And then we talked about this replacing the fence here and also the cleaning of the existing water tower.
The fence where, I'm sorry.
City Hall.
Oh,
Out the left as you walk out.
gotcha.
Any questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, annual library report.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
One, here.
Thanks, man.
And another year, they fly by. Seems like it. This is the annual survey that I do annually, so this will be ending fiscal year 17, ending July 30th, last July 30th. I'll just hit the high points, because you can obviously take some time and look through it yourself. Section A is just general information that doesn't change from year to year. Section B is paid staff. And kind of the bottom line on that is B7, total paid employees, the full-time equivalent is 2.93. So we have 2 full-time employees and the rest are part-time. So the difference there is spread amongst them. And that stayed consistent and does stay pretty consistent and should, unless we have to, unless we increase hours for any reason, so.
Does that include you, Mary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 full-time employees and 3 part-time.
Cool.
Currently. We're currently short yet, our youth person, our after-school person. Had a couple candidates, but just not quite what we're looking for. It's, you have to be really good with kids and want to really work with kids, so. So, we continue to wait and hope.
What hours did they normally work?
After school, 3 to
Any
5.
chance of UNI interns for that type of position?
I actually interviewed a UNI student, and I actually called her back, but she didn't respond, so.
I'm not sure if you get the consistency that.
Yeah, a lot of travel distance for that
And
too.
you really do need consistency.
Yeah, you do.
And you need to build a good rapport with the kids,
Yeah. So if
so.
they're switching
What
every
you get
semester.
over time, yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
And
it's
then all you
kind of
need
a
is one-
delicate balance.
One bad egg to
Yep,
turn the kids off.
yeah, you work really hard to build that core, especially for our youth book clubs, and we have a strong core in those right now. We're running 4 of them, 5 of them. And it's a lot of work to get those built up and going, so you don't want to do anything that would jeopardize that they have that good rapport with the youth person, so. The next section, section C, is capital income and expenditures, and we didn't have any specific capital projects this year. We're looking ahead to next year, the next fiscal year, the budget we just turned in, will include a carpet and painting project. It's been almost 20 years by the time we get to that carpet project. Again, that makes me feel old too. That's crazy. It's hard to believe it's been that long since we've been in the new building, As far as our income streams, the county income received was $9,510. That is based on how much we spend. It's a really odd formula, but it goes down to how much we spend on materials out of local funding, plus our circulation to rural Blackhawk County residents. The local government operating income received was $194,157. State government income received was $3,794. That actually was down some because of the cuts on the state budget level. And I don't know, doesn't really sound great for this year for them either, so. The total operating income was $206,534. That was up 2,000 from the year before. The next section, is expenditures. The total staff expenditures in D23 was $143,676. Total physical materials expenditures on D28 was $22,944. Total ebook expenditures was $248. Our ebook and downloadable ebook and audiobook and a few videos is a statewide consortium called Bridges, and ours gets good use. And at $248 to buy in for the year, it's very, very economical. Yep.
Is that a platform that's growing a ton, I would think?
What's that?
Is that a platform that is growing a ton?
Well, yeah, it's, within the Bridges platform, you own titles, and so every year, the collection increases in size.
And I mean the demand for it too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and we'll get to that when we, yeah. So far, it's grown every year. I don't know if that will ever plateau out, but, and then, electronic materials expenditures, that is some electronic databases we have. That's, 2,848, and so total collection expenditures was 25,792. And total of all operating was 205,337. The library collection itself, if you go to E4, this is physical volumes in books, is 30,850. That waxes and wanes depending on how many sections you read in a certain year. You know, the purchasing is pretty level. That hasn't changed for a lot of years, but you know, how many go in a certain year does kind of fluctuate, so. Total ebooks held at the end of the year, that's that collection, the Bridges collection, is 33,725. So you can see that's huge in what it facilitates our patrons to be able to access in addition to what we have in print. The total books held at the end of the year is 64,575. A combination of the two. Audio materials, we own in-house 1,917. Downloadable audio materials, same program, Bridges, is 15,607. So the total audio materials is 17,524.
That's huge.
Yep, and like I said, video materials that we have physically in-house is 1,703. And there are just like 50 that they've tried with the downloadable program, but it's not great. And it doesn't compete with Netflix, you know, some of those programs, so. I don't know, you know, where it'll go in the future, if this will expand within Bridges or not, that I'm not sure. Other library materials, it's just, mostly, the games. And so the total physical volumes we have is 34,670. Total downloadable materials we have is 49,382. That was up 19,000 in the last year. And then the total physical and downloadable combined is 84,052.
And is there quite a bit of crossover, like there's stuff that's physical and downloadable, same titles?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, especially a lot of the mainstream
Yeah.
fiction, those sort of things. Downloadable materials, it's still kind of a screwy market. There are, I mean, I could buy additional titles to have just available to our patrons, but they're like, $90 for the new John Grisham, and then it's got a set number of circulations, and then poof, it's gone. They have determined what they think, how many circulations you get out of a hardcover copy, and that's what they said at that. So they're overpriced, and you don't really own them. So it's not, we're better off in the consortium.
Sure.
And with them managing the consortium. Circulation, section F. In F8, the total physical circulation by material type is 23,002. The total use of ebooks is 1,238, and that did increase again last year by 146. And that's, once they get set up, they can do that any place they have wireless internet access or internet access. They don't have to keep coming into the library. They just have to come in once. That's ebooks alone. Total use of all downloadable materials, it was 2,193. That's about even. The increase was about 50% use ebooks and about 50% audiobooks. Total retrieval of electronic information, that's F22. That was 2,654. And what that is we have several databases. Again, some of these are facilitated through the state library, but not all of them. Ones that we subscribe to just individually as a library are a couple of genealogy databases. We have the Ancestry Library Edition. That one is mostly has immigration, vital records, census, family histories, court records, directories, photos, and military records. This is, Ancestry also has a lot of family trees. You can go in and look up your family, and it might connect you to other people who are working and have worked up the same thing, and it's all online.
Any way to know if a lot of people are doing that nowadays?
Yeah, it gets pretty good use. Between that one and Heritage Quest Online, it's 1,463
Wow.
was for that year. And then Heritage Quest is another ProQuest product, and it's another genealogy product. And that has more of census, death records, not so much specific family histories that this has, but the more general reference materials. And then we also have available ABC Mouse. That is a learning tool. It has more than 8,500 learning activities and 850 lessons. Most comprehensive early learning curriculum available online. That's free to libraries, actually. You can access it through our webpage. All of these you can access through our webpage. Sometimes you have to come into the library the first time you use them to get signed up, and then you can access them from anywhere. We have Credo, which is Credo Reference. That has over 3 million reference entries from all the major academic subject areas. So, good for research. We have Transparent Language. That's a new one to us this year, and it has more than 100 languages, and it has instructions for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So if you ever wanted to learn Spanish or Italian or German, this is a fabulous product. And it's so intuitive and easy to use, and it makes you want to learn a language. Once you look at it, you think, oh man, I wish I could really spend some time in there, because it starts you at square one. You sign in, and so you pick up. You do a lesson one night, you do a lesson 5 days later, or however, it keeps you, your content available. It's very neat. Learning Express Library is classes. And so it's academic and workplace skills, improve basic skills. If you were working towards a GED, it'd be helpful for that. Math, reading, and writing tutorials. You can learn about in-demand careers. You can prepare for occupational exams if you were needing to take one of the military exams or the postal service exam. Prep for ACT, SAT, and AP tests. You can prepare for the GED test, HiSET, and TASK. So there's lots of tutorials, practice tests, ebooks. We've also used this to help people learn how to use computers, because they have a lot of computer tutorials, and so they can start with one of the very basic ones, and then we're there and available to help them if they need help along the way. And then the biggest one actually is Gale, and that is, I think, Matt, you were interested in the EBSCO host that we had before.
Yeah.
This takes the place of that, EBSCO host. We don't have that subscription anymore, but we have Gale, and that's bigger. This one also includes, in addition to the K-12 support, it has health and wellness, auto repair, business research, and reader's advisory to help you find your next book you want to read.
It
So-
might have been because I'm just kind of slow, but that EBSCO host thing seemed kind of confusing to get going.
Mhm.
Is this stuff a little
Really
easier
well known.
to
You
get
know,
hooked up?
I don't know, I haven't spent that much time in it, but,
I still got the card on my nightstand that I've never really done anything with, because
Yep.
the first time I tried logging in, it was like, oh, okay, I better go
well,
talk
you
to
won't
Mary.
get in now, because this has replaced it,
Right,
so.
okay.
So anyway. you
But
can-
with all those, including the test practice thing, the ACT, all that stuff,
The Learning Express,
is that, are all these, you go into the library, get set up, and then I can use it anywhere?
yep,
On a beach,
yes.
in another country?
Except for one of
At
the,
Yankees game?
except all
At
the,
Yankees
There's a
game.
testing part, right?
yeah,
One
all
part where
except,
you test, you have to come into the library on Gale. There's a section if you want to get certified.
Okay.
There.
All except for one of the genealogy databases has to be used in-house.
Cool,
But somebody told me that if he brings his laptop and signs in at the library,
it'll stick.
takes his laptop home and opens it up, it's still on there, and they don't know that he's left the library.
Sweet, right?
Yeah,
IP address off the laptop.
yeah, so. Okay, so that's that circulation, that's the electronic materials use. Circulation to the rural population, to our city, it shows the breakdown on that there in F26 through F28. And our current number of registered users at F34 is 3,168. That goes up and down, you know, we're always weeding the ones, and sad to say we, you know, lose some of our patrons just to age, but every week I have new people to enter also, so. And then the next section is the programs for different age groups, children through adults. Total number of people attending programs last year, and what's that number? G8 is 4,228. And then our door count was 35,488. There is a counter on the door, an actual.
I do like your meeting room use annually too, at 662. That meeting room at the library gets used a lot by a lot of different groups, and
It does.
I think that's fantastic. We've got that ability in town.
It currently is ICN capable, but I think we're not, in order to move ahead, we would have to change platforms, and then it would start costing us about $125 a month. And the ICN system itself, the room gets a lot of use, the ICN system doesn't get a lot of use anymore. And so
I
the
think
board
ICN's
has,
going by the wayside anyway, too.
the board has decided that it's not justified adding that expense when we currently don't have one for the couple of uses in a year, right? So. I-5, total number of public internet computer uses annually was 7,194. That, yeah, but it continues to snake down a little bit, mostly because all the kids are getting their own
I
computers
was
at
just gonna
school.
say.
So there's a
Oh.
flip-flop there,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but wireless sessions goes up every year
Sure.
because they bring those
Bring
in.
your own
and-
devices.
And so that was 2,940. And, you know, people use, everybody's got a smartphone and they're logging on to that. Any questions on that?
I always like to say thank you for all your hard work on
Yes,
there, because
yeah,
our
your
library
staff do an
is
excellent job.
Absolutely
the best
Programming and-
around.
Yeah.
The last thing I have is library volunteers. They logged 419 hours last year. Uh-huh, so.
Tell your staff and
We
your volunteers.
appreciate them. I will. I
We
will pass
appreciate
that
all
on.
of them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Thanks, Mary. You don't need to stick around for the whole meeting.
Well, that's okay. She likes to. Yep.
Okay, public hearing on the proposed designation of the 2017 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area. Open the public hearing. Chrissy, do we have any written comments? Any oral comments?
No.
Now close the public hearing. Item A, general government. Hudson City Council maintains the right to waive the first and second readings of the ordinances presented and may pass the third and final reading of the same ordinance within the same council meeting. Item A, discussion action to approve the third reading of ordinance 785, an ordinance amending the Hudson City Code 2017, Chapter 92 Water Rates, Section 92-02 Rates for Service. And this was basically 6% on the base charge and 10% on the volume-related charges. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Buns.
Aye.
Engel. Aye. Reister.
Aye.
Stabell.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
5-0. Item B, discussion action to approve the third reading of ordinance 786, an ordinance amending the Hudson City Code 2017, Chapter 99 Sewer Rate Charges, Section 99-01 Sewer Service Charges Required, and this one was 5% on the base and 10% on the volume. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Engel. Aye. Stabell.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
5-0. Item C, discussion action to approve resolution 2330, a resolution to declare necessity and establish an urban renewal area pursuant to section 403.4 of the Code of Iowa and approve the urban renewal plan and project for the 2017 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area. And this is the northern tier, what had been called Eco Development, now it's Hudson Land Development LLC, but it's basically the area to get this ready for urban renewal area and TIF and everything else. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Reister. Engel. Aye. Stabell.
Aye.
5-0. Discussion action to waive the first and second readings of ordinance 790, an ordinance providing the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the 2017 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19. The reason we're requesting waiver of the first and second is so that we can have this ready for first of the year, in case something gets started up there. I'd like to have it done prior to any ground being broken, as well as it'll then be set up so that we'll go through the proposed development or rebate agreement at the January 8th meeting. So a motion to approve,
So
waiving the first and second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Stabell.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Engel. Aye. Reister.
Aye.
Okay, now E, discussion action to approve the third reading of ordinance 790, an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the 2017 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Engel. Aye. Stabell.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
5-0. Item F, discussion action to approve resolution 2331, a resolution setting a date of meeting in which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Hudson Land Development LLC, including the annual appropriation tax increment payments, and this would be setting the public hearing for January 8th, Chrissy?
Yep.
Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Stabell.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Engel. Aye.
5-0. Item G, discussion action to approve resolution 2332, a resolution accepting the retirement of employee Colleen Damon. And this would be effective May 11th, with her last day effectively being January 4th, as she has accrued time off between then.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Is it 2332 or 2232?
2332. Is it wrong on the?
Mine says
2332.
Well, but in the actual printout it said
Oh,
2232,
okay,
so
I'll
yeah, it
change
should be
that, sorry.
2332. I got a motion to approve, I had a second, to have any more discussion, other than the correction? Shows that Matt's reading it.
Yeah,
I
that's
missed
right.
it too. Roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
Stabel.
Aye.
Can we pass along a thank you so much for her service over the years? She's been a fantastic asset to this community.
Most definitely will do that.
And to all of
after
us,
she has 6
newbies.
months,
Yeah.
after she has 6 months of retirement, and she'll then be available to come back on call if our other clerk or deputy
that's
clerk
cool.
are on vacation or anything like that. So, in case of a pinch. I think the 6 months is for IPERS regulations.
Yeah, it's 4 for IPERS, but yeah, yeah.
Item H, discussion action to approve resolution 2333, a resolution accepting the retirement of employee Bob Stevenson.
So
This is-
moved.
Second.
Sorry, did I jump on?
A little bit.
Fine.
Okay,
Second.
I thought you were done. So moved.
Second.
Discussion, and this is retirement effective June 1st, but his last day will be March 2nd. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Reister.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
Stabel.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
And I'll also pass
I
on
was just
thanks
gonna say,
to
also
Bob
pass
for,
on. He
what,
said-
9 years he was here, I think, thereabouts?
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
What do we got, aye?
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Discussion action to approve resolution 2334, resolution to reappoint Board of Adjustment member, and this would be Wally Mokel. And I'll presume that he'll be chair, but that will be up to that board.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Bun, or Gail, did you second or was it Brenda?
Both, either
Doesn't
one, so
matter.
just
Oh.
choose one or the other.
Okay. All right, Reister.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
Stabel.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Pass along our thanks to Wally.
So we'll do that.
Stuck here.
Why don't you walk down the road on your daily jog and tell him thanks. Item J, discussion action to approve resolution 2335, a resolution to appoint Board of Adjustment member Natalie Deloy, and this will be the first time we've had that board filled in about 2 years or more.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
What's her story, or how'd she come into this?
Her father-in-law, Mark Deloy, was one of the original lot owners and still lives in the Glenwood Chase Edition. And he has somehow convinced both of his boys to locate in Hudson. And so she and her husband just moved up from Marion, I think.
Cool.
And she is a vice president, commercial lending officer at Lincoln Savings Bank in Waterloo. So she wanted to actively get involved. I said, got a slap for you.
There you go.
So,
Fill
we're
it.
on roll.
Thank you.
Did I get the motion in second?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Stabel.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Engel.
5-0. Item J, no, K. Discussion action to approve resolution 2336, a resolution to appoint Hudson Municipal Electric Board member, and this is for Jeremy Trotter, that what was printed out might have noted
Yeah,
Jeff,
Jeff
Corey,
Corey.
and
Wrong,
Jeremy.
sorry.
It's just Jeremy.
Just Jeremy. Just Trotter.
Just Trotter.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Reister.
Aye.
Engel. Wyatt. Stabel.
Aye.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
5-0. Discussion action to approve resolution 2337, a resolution for approval of agreement with Lincoln Savings Bank and the City of Hudson, Iowa for an interest rate structure on the library trust and memorial CDs. Mary was able to get a 2.01 rate for 18-month CD.
Wow.
Motion approved.
So moved. Second. Yep.
Discussion. Roll call.
Just a second, sorry.
Did you say the mayor was able
Huh?
to? Did you say the mayor was able to?
He said Mary.
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 Well.
Mary at the library.
I thought you said the mayor was
No,
able
I have no
to. Talk about
negotiating
yourself
power in
in
this
third
town.
person.
Way to twist some arms, that was nice.
But,
Good
okay.
work, Mary.
Kate, did you first?
Yes.
Okay. Wyatt.
Aye.
Engel. Reister.
Aye.
Stabel.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
5-0.
Who will stop by to sign those? They asked me.
Do I need to sign them, or?
Probably
it
better
take
if
two?
you would sign them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just let me know when they're ready, or are they ready now?
They should be. I took the checks
Okay.
for rolling over
I'll be
there
down.
last week, so,
I'll be in City Hall tomorrow. I'll stop by tomorrow.
okay.
Chrissy will remind me.
I will try to remind you.
Resolution 2338, item M, discussion action to approve resolution 2338, a resolution to approve the 28 holiday schedule. And this is actually effectively 2 days less than last year because we dropped off President's
Yeah.
Day. And instead of having a full holiday on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, it's a half day on each.
And that's because you went with League of Cities listing rather than anything else?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Engel. Stabell. Buns.
Aye.
Reister.
5-0. Item N, discussion action to approve resolution 2339, a resolution for approval of supplemental professional service agreement number 10 for the diffuser bank stabilization and performance analysis for an amount not to exceed $21,500, and this is just for the engineering. The issue is, as Scott and Gail both well know in depth, is that we have a diffuser that goes across Black Hawk Creek. It goes into a manhole on the other side of the creek. We're starting to get erosion around there, and we need to get an engineering study done as far as getting it fixed. Getting it fixed is not included. There's always the possibility that we could have a major flood that would tear the whole thing out. If that would happen, at least we would have the engineering study done to where we could tell FEMA exactly what we need to fix it. But object now would be able to get the engineering study done so that we have it, and then we can consider when to go out for bids to get it fixed. So, motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Did anybody sound really excited about that one? I
I'm
mean,
not
this is
excited
not a
about
fun
that
one
one
that we
at
have
all.
to do,
We're gonna be finding,
Yeah,
and we talked to
discussion.
the city of Waterloo or Cedar Falls and everything. Anything to deal with the DNR is going to prove to be
difficult.
difficult and costly.
Every day and twice on Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, and Rick was able to be at this last Public Safety, Public Works meeting where he explained how the DNR is involved in this. It's not a case that we could just go around with a bulldozer and try to fix it ourselves. It's
And
gotta be DNR.
21.5 is cheap.
Probably. It's not to exceed,
It's-
hopefully they'll get by without that, but
It's
it's not out of the
significant work.
realm of norm.
Where is that coming out of, or what's the?
It'd be about the sewer plant, and it goes straight across the,
No, money-wise.
where is it? Be coming out of the reserves.
Okay.
Gets our reserves fairly well down, but that's why we
That's what
hopped
happened.
in again. It's one of the reasons we raised the rates 10%. Further discussion? Roll call.
Stabell.
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Reister.
Informational items, there's about 10 of them listed in there for you. Reminder items, regularly scheduled meetings held at council chambers except electric board and library board. Public Works Committee, January 10th, 7 a.m. Mayor's Task Force, January 16th, 4:45 p.m. These should all be 2018, I presume.
Oh, that's 17. Sorry, I'm still stuck in
Haven't-
17, I'm
haven't.
sorry.
Yeah, that'll,
Well, our council
got
meeting's
January
January
8th,
22nd of 17 too. so.
yeah. Personnel Admin Finance Committee, January 22nd, 4:45. Public Safety, January 25th at 4 p.m. Next council meeting is January 8th and 22nd at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Happy New
Christmas.
Year.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I feel like we should
Thanks,
sing
all.
a carol to the city.
No.
Shall
not.
Let's pretend we did.
Over and under was 42, we hit 39.
Hey, Mary, my intent is to come in and sit with you and have you teach
Thank
me how to
you.
get on some of this stuff.